there are two basic points that it's important to remember for the continuation of what we're going to talk about over here. One idea is that we explained that by Matan Torah there was the chibur between elyonim v'tachtonim. The chibur of elyonim v'tachtonim is two stages. Even though in general we say there was the bittul of the gzeira that elyonim, there was the gzeira elyonim lo yedu l'mata v'tachtonim lo yal l'mayla, and like it says that Hashem descended in Har Sinai and Moshe told him alei alai lahara. Still in all, the Rebbe explains that the descent, the main time of the Yerida, of elyonim yedu tachtonim, that was by Matan Torah. That was when Hashem revealed and brought down the Torah into this world. The main idea of Tachtoinim, Yal Elyonim, is that we, through our Torah mitzvahs, after Matan Torah, so then we are elevating the Tachtoinim to the Elyonim. So it's more like the Elyonim, Yerdul Tachtoinim, the higher ones going down to below. That's the Nesinas Koyach, that's the empowerment for what will take place after Matan Torah, the Tachtoinim Yal Elyonim. That's one point that's very important for what we're going to talk about. Another idea is that we said that the idea of the joining Elyonim v'Tachtoinim is the idea of joining Maila v'Mata, that we are joining what is above and what is below. Now, in joining what is above and what is below, there's two ways of looking at it. One way of looking at it is that there's levels that are lower levels, like Olam Haza Agashmi, and there's higher levels. And we are joining, and thanks to the Kav, there is this distinction. The Kav makes things that are higher, things that are lower, and Matan Torah caused the joining between the two. For example, Atzilus and Bia. But then there's a higher idea. There are levels that the whole idea of Maila Mata exist, that there is higher and lower, and then there's such a high level, like in the Oren Slav Shlifnat Tzimtzum, where there isn't even the concept of divisions of levels. That is a higher level of joining of Maila and Mata, meaning the joining of that level where there is no hischalkus of Maila and Mata with the levels where Maila and Mata exist. Now, bearing in mind these 2 points, let's go on to Ois Daled, page 4, line 13, page Ches, from last week's Dvar Malchus. V'hinei, inyan zeh, שבחיבור דמיילה מטה של מתן תורה, נכלל גם המיילה של המיילה, מהגדר דמיילה מטה שבעולם is, that when my Matan Torah, there was the joining of the above and below. It includes also joining that level above that it's not even possible to categorize it as above and below, as we have in worlds the categorization of above and below. So that is in the 2 stages that we spoke about. There is the stage of what took place by Matan Torah, the empowerment, and then what we do with it. So he says in line 16, U'ein benegel anesinas koyach. Shoyser Matan Torah aide avoide Torah mitzvahs. Shala achri Matan Torah hadachtoinim yal yoinim. It's both on the avoida, it's both on the empowerment that took place by Matan Torah for the avoida of Torah mitzvahs that's after Matan Torah, that then will be tachtoinim, the ones below will go up above. Shaidei avoida satachtoinim, that this empowerment that takes place by Matan Torah through the chibur is that shaidei avoida satachtoinim yum shach atzilus, through the avodah was down here below, we're not just limited to the worlds of Bri Yitzir Asiya. We also have the level of Maila, which is the world of Atzilus. Not just the world of the light of Atzilus, but V'Oir HaSoiviv, but also the transcendent light, like he finished at the end of previous paragraph, the Yichud of Oir HaSoiviv and the Oir HaMamali. Va'ad until the light of Bligvul, the infinite light, before the Tzimtzum, the root of the Oir HaSoiviv, where the entire definition, the entire category, the entire paradigm of Maila Mata don't exist. So that empowerment took place by Matan Torah itself, and also that actual joining of Maila Mata takes place after Matan Torah. That is the Nesinus Koyach of after Matan Torah. Vehein b'chibur, the Maila Mata el Yoinim, Yerdu Latachtoinim Shahoy B'Shas Matan Torah Gufa. That in Matan Torah itself there was also that joining. So there was the empowerment for later of that joining of Maila Mata up to the highest levels, and there's also the actual joining that took place by Matan Torah, that the above descended below. So first of all, he's going to explain how Torah transcends the idea of time and place. It's known that Torah is beyond time and place. For this reason, whoever is involved in Torah, the halachas of a carbon oila, it's considered as if he offered the oila carbon. How could that be that he offered the oila carbon? Though it's not the time of the hakrava. So for example, it could be nighttime. You can't bring korbanos during the night. It could be in a place where there's no hakrava. He's not in the Beis Hamikdash. He's in America, whatever. Still and all, by learning the halachas, learning the Torah of the carbon oil, it's considered as if he was makriv oil. Why? Because Torah is beyond time and place. This is the unity, the joining of higher than Maila Mata with the Tachtoinim. That which is beyond time comes down here in our world, beyond time and place. Let's go on to page test. Next page, Ois Hey. V'hinei af shiridas ha'el yoin m'lamata v'aliyas ha'tachtoinim l'maylim shnei and yonim, though the descent of the above below and the ascent of those below to above are two distinct things. Like we said, one is the empowerment and one is actualization of by the Torah mitzvahs throughout our lives. Until, like the Maimer also said earlier, we mentioned this, it was in two separate stages. The descent of the above below, that took place by Matan Torah. And the ascent of those below to above was after Matan Torah. Still in all, since, as we said before, the descent of the above down here below was also the beginning and the empowerment for after Matan Torah taking place, the ascent of those below. The Chazal say, like we mentioned before, after the Bittul Hagzeira, after Hashem stopped the decree, he said, Vani hamaschel, I will be the one that begins it. In other words, he's not just beginning stage 1 of El Yoinim Yerdul Tachtoinim, he's also beginning stage 2. It started already with the El Yoinim Yerdul Tachtoinim, that's already the beginning for the Tachtoinim Yal El Yoinim. So therefore, therefore, the descent was in such a type of way that it actually affected the Tachtoinim. The Tachtoinim were impacted by the Yerida of the Eibishter because it was already beginning the process of what would take place later on. So, and the Rebbe is going to give the actual examples of where it impacted the Tachtoinim. The Tachtoinim were changed because of it, or at least temporarily. So he says in line 10, according to this, we can explain what it's brought down. That the sound of Hashem speaking Daser Sadibris was heard from all four sides, from all four directions, and from above and below. And like the Rebbe many times says, that Hashem does not make miracles for no purpose. It was there. Every miracle serves a particular, every nest serves a particular purpose, a particular reason. Why was it this way that the Torah was heard from, as the expression in English now, a surround sound? It was from all sides, it came the voice. Because this revelation of the Ein Sof, the infinite light of Hashem, that's beyond the entire category of place. We spoke about that the whole idea of place it began with Kav. That's where Maila and Mata began, higher and lower. So the idea of Mokim, of place, at least Beruchniya, spiritual Mokim, began with the Kav. Since the revelation of Matan Torah was higher than the Kav, from the Ein Sof, that is beyond the whole idea of place, therefore, should Ba'akoil, should Aseres HaDibros Paul Ba'amokim, should Boy Nishma Koil Shielamayla V'Namokim. The sound of the Aseres HaDibros influenced and affected the place, that the sound should be heard in such a way that's beyond place. Place didn't play any role with the sound itself. So therefore, it impacted it also into the actual place, that the place should be in such a way of beyond place. Similar to what the Rebbe always explains concerning Mokim Aron Eina Min Amida, that the place of the Aron did not occupy any space in the Beis HaMikdash and the Kodesh Kedoshim, even though you could measure it, and it took up space, but it didn't actually take up any space in the Kodesh Kedoshim. The Rebbe goes on, line 16. Therefore, though the place that the voice and the sound of Hashem saying the Aseres HaDibros was a specific place, just like by the Kodesh HaKadoshim, it's a specific measurements there are to the Aron. There's a specific measurements to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It didn't. If you took a ruler or you took a measuring tape, it didn't stop measuring. It took up space. It was a specific space. The same thing. The voice came out, we said, from all four directions and from top and bottom. It's not. It doesn't say that there was no top and bottom. It doesn't say that four directions seems to be. Still in all, in the voice was included all six directions of all four sides and above and below. Now the Rebbe goes on and says, just like it was in place, the same thing it's in time. The Rebbe always speaks about the interconnectedness of time and place. And often in Chassidus he will show how whatever is in place is also supposed to be found in time. The Rebbe says in line 18, we could say, in a similar vein concerning time, the time in which Torah was given was beyond time, just like the voice during Matan Torah was beyond the limitations of space. This seems to be a chiddush of the Rebbe. He says, that all time continuum was included in the time of Matan Torah. The Rebbe goes on, we could say also, this is the reason why Matan Torah was a one-time event. Not it's a one-time event that will never occur again, but it's a one-time event that's always occurring, because all time is included. That is one of the reasons why Matan Torah only took place once. And like the Alter Rebbe emphasized in Tanya, that it won't occur ever again. Matan Torah, ki bazman de Matan Torah nichlal kol hemshech hazman kuloi. Because in the time of Matan Torah, the entire time continuation of the rest of time was included in that moment of time of Matan Torah. Again, it's a chiddush of the Rebbe. I don't think that when the Rebbe says V'yesh Loimar, it obviously doesn't say anywhere explicitly. So now the Rebbe is going to take this back to the beginning of the Maimer. At the beginning of the Maimer, it says that בחודש השלישי, ביום הזה, in this day, bo midbar Sinai. And we said Yom Hazeh goes on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and then at the very same time we said by Yom Hazeh, Rashi says, why does it say by Yom Hazeh? To teach you, shekol Yom yu b'necha chadoshim or chadoshim, that every single day the giving of the Torah should be new or like new. And one of the things that we asked is, how is that possible to feel it new? And another thing is, how do we reconcile the two? Either Yom Hazeh is talking about the day of Matan Torah or the day of Rosh Chodesh Sivan, actually, or it's talking about Yom Hazeh every single day of the year. This is like two opposite, in a way, explanations. Based on what we just now said, that the day of Matan Torah includes in it all time, so therefore even the days in preparation for Matan Torah also include all time, and therefore both fit together. Let's see it inside. Line 22, so too it's concerning Rosh Chodesh Sivan, she'oz nishlama hachana l'matan Torah. On Rosh Chodesh Sivan, it was completed the preparation for Matan Torah. He's mitzayin to the Alter Rebbe in Torah Or. The Alter Rebbe in Torah Or explains, as we all know, Sfiras HaOmer is a time of preparation for Matan Torah. When you get into the 7th week, which is also the 7th and last Sfira, and you get into you're going into the 3rd day of that week. So in other words, you're already half done with that week, so therefore, the Alter Rebbe says, you are already concluded like the preparation for Matan Torah. This is what the Alter Rebbe says in Torah. Should be Yom Hazeh, he says in page Yud, Nichlal kol meshech hazman shala achrizeh. It's included in it the day of Rosh Chodesh Sivan, not just the day of Matan Torah, is included all the continuation of time following Matan Torah. In other words, throughout all time. Here he brings it back to the question we had at the beginning of the Maimer. How can we connect the two explanations in Bayom Hazeh Bo Midbar Sinai? Shekoyal Rosh Chodesh Sivan, either Bayom Hazeh is referring to Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and we learn it out from a Gzeira Shava, from a Chodesh Hazalachem, or Shekoyal Kol Yom, or it's going on every day. How do we reconcile the two? Keep a Rosh Chodesh Sivan Deshnas Matan Torah, because on Rosh Chodesh Sivan of the year 2448, Nichlu Kol Hayomim Shel Achrizeh is included all the days following that throughout time. So now the Rebbe continues in Eisvav on line 6. Val Pizem, the Rebbe is going to explain another question that we asked at the beginning of the Maimer. At the beginning of the Maimer, we asked, since Hashem's words are always existing, they're everlasting, and on the other hand, we say that a person has to learn it as if Hashem is saying it right now, which means that with his learning, he is affecting Hashem saying the words of Torah right now. So, if Hashem's words are everlasting, so it's already there right now because of the everlasting nature of Hashem's words. It wasn't just said in Sivan 2448. It's always being said. So what am I adding to Hashem saying that that when I say the words of Torah, so then I am making Hashem speak and I am making it new that it's being said today. So based on what we just now said, we can reconcile this. That we could add and we could explain the novelty of the Chiddush that will take place when every person learns Torah now. Tam l'shoini imrasecha, it says the pasuk that during the learning Torah, what I cause in Hashem's words over the speech that took place on Matan Torah. The Matan Torah yeshne b'chol zman u'mitzad halimud shel adam. The fact that there is this speech of Matan Torah in all time. It's because of and a result of the Torah study of every person. Like we explained in the previous ayahs, the matan Torah Paul Bazman. Why was it necessary that by Matan Torah the revelation also impacted and included in it all the entire duration of time after Matan Torah? It's because the revelation of Matan Torah had to be the beginning and the empowerment of the ascent from those down here below, avodas ha'adam, the avoid of the person. V'lachein hadibur ha'kadosh baruch hu, sheba idei limud ha'adam hu naila yoser. Therefore, the speech of Hashem that results through the person's Torah study is even higher than Hashem's speech on his own, because the reason why it's everlasting is because the person needs to speak it then. Let's continue in line 17. Yesh lahoyse, we can add, just like in the literal sense, in the simple sense where it says, it's talking about, like we said, Reish Chodesh Sivan. What's the idea of Reish Chodesh? Hurak moilot halavon. On Reish Chodesh, it's only the new moon. Nekuda balvad, the new moon is only a point. V'achar yaleches u'miskadeles, and afterwards it goes on and increases and grows. Ad liyam hachamisha asar, until the 15th day of the month. Sheboy kai mesira b'shlamusa, when the 15th of the month, the moon is full. Al derech zeh b'Yisrael. In a similar vein, the Yidden have to do with Reish Chodesh. Shebe'eis Matan Torah shehoye b'midbar Sinai hoya eschol. During Matan Torah that took place in the wilderness of Sinai, that was the beginning, like the birth of the new moon. V'idei avodah Yisrael la'achrize ula'achri Matan Torah, through the avodah of Yidden following Reish Chodesh Sivan and following Matan Torah, Hem hoilchim umizgadlim. They are increasing and growing. Until, like it's brought down the Maimer Chazal, that in the days of David HaMelech, the days of Shlomo, the moon was full, just like Shlomo HaMelech was the 15th generation from Avram Avinu. Moshe was the 7th, and Shlomo HaMelech was the 15th, and the Chazal explained and associated that this is the 15, the number 15 indicates the fullness of the moon. The true fullness and perfection of the moon, which Yidden are likened to, will be in the generation of Melech HaMashiach. Then he will rule from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth. And what do we see from that? Not even like Shlomo HaMelech, that by him there he ruled in Eretz Yisrael, and it was a time of peace, and the different kings accepted him, and so on. But it was, when Mashiach comes, it will be like Matan Torah affected, all place came together. B'chol makom b'shaveh, it will be equally the entire world will be equal. Top of page Yud Aleph, until the glory of Hashem will fill the entire earth. That Hashem's glory will fill the entire earth equally, just like we said by Matan Torah. That at the time of Matan Torah, there was the Gilui of the Aseres HaDibros, the voice, encompassed all place. The same thing, the manifestation of that fullness of the moon, the 15th of the month, that will also have that full manifestation when Mashiach comes as well, that the glory of Hashem will fill the entire earth.